Very good morning. Welcome back to the show. 11:51 is the time. I'm Julia Hartley-Brewer. Let's talk a little bit more about the big state visit, historic, unprecedented second visit by a US president during his terms in office to the monarch of this country. It was the Queen last time, the late Queen. Now, of course, it is the King. Let's talk to Rafe Haydel-Mankey, who's a royal commentator and historian. Very good morning to you, Rafe.
Always a pleasure, Julia.
Thank you for joining us. Well, I think I have to say, I think they may already be running late. It's 11:52 on my clock, and at 11:55, Donald Trump is supposed to be with Melania, arriving at Windsor Castle to be greeted by William and Kate. So I'm not quite sure, unless they can make it in 3 minutes. I don't think he's even left the US ambassador's residence in Regent's Park in London yet. So those timings have already gone a little bit wrong, haven't they?
Well, at least they don't have to deal with any traffic
That's
in
the thing.
part of this trip, because everything, of course, is taking place within the Windsor estate itself. I'm off to Windsor actually later on to do some commentary.
Oh, I thought you were going to be going to the banquet. Oh, come on, Rafe. I'd love to see you in white tie.
I didn't say I wasn't. I didn't say I wasn't doing that as well. But yes, Windsor has been completely cut off. There's a big wall because of the fear of protests and so forth. So a very unusual state visit, a state visit where no member of the public will actually get to see any of the great pageantry unless they're watching TV.
And what do you think? I mean, look, we know why. They know there'll be protests. I mean, last time he came, even the London Mayor, who's written this ridiculous article in The Guardian today. Just be a grown-up, for goodness sake. Understand what we're doing here. With the big baby blimp in Parliament Square. Not that Trump went to Parliament Square at all. He's not been allowed to speak in Parliament, address Parliament, because, of course, they made sure that the visit was, oh, what a shame, Parliament's not sitting from Wednesday onwards. Sorry about that, President. I mean, it is embarrassing that we can't have someone who, I don't agree with every one of his policies. I don't personally think he's a lovely person, but the inability of this country to be grown-ups and understand he's the leader of the free world, is our biggest, most important ally of the biggest, most important country in the world, and we should roll out the red carpet for him if he wants to meet the sodding king.
Yeah, there's this ridiculous disconnect. We should be grateful, actually, that in President Trump, we have the most Anglophilic president we've ever had. He's also, compare him to Joe Biden. Joe Biden was such an Anglophobe, and it runs deep in the Biden family. Joe Biden's mother once slept on the floor of a small hotel when she was told that the Queen had once stayed in one of the bedrooms because she didn't want to run the risk of staying in the same bed.
Do you know what I mean? Where are you even at? I mean, that's the thing. This is actually a boon for us. This is a benefit for us. We've already got, preferential, not by March, but preferential, tariffs from the US president. I know they're going to be pushing for more of that. But what do you make of the relationship claimed? We don't hear these claims from, the King. When they don't talk about this stuff, but going against all protocol, describing the King as his good friend.
Well, we know that their friendship goes back to the 1980s, actually. Prince Charles, as he then was, travelled to Palm Beach and went and visited Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, which he had just bought a couple of years prior to that. We can't say that there's ever been a very strong friendship there, but we do know that
I can't see they've got much in common. I can't think of anything they would agree on, other than they quite like gold.
After the divorce between the King and his former wife, he was courted. She was courted by Donald Trump, which I don't think she was very happy about either. So I'm not sure whether the children of Diana will be too happy about that episode of Trump's romantic affairs. But certainly, we do know that the King wrote to him after his assassination attempt last year. King wrote to him again after his inauguration. Melania, in her memoirs, which were ghostwritten, but in her memoirs, she claims to write regularly and says that they're pen pals with the King. Quite how much of that is true, I don't know. We know that the King is not like his mother, is a bit less discreet. We know he's going to push some of his own ideas on energy and the environment.
Good luck with that.
That will go down. We don't know, but we'll see.
We'll just say, just breaking news, the President and the First Lady are on their way to Windsor Castle in Marine One. I think we know that the security is just off the scale for this trip, particularly in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and that will impact a lot of this. So a lot of this is not just about protests, it's about literally keeping the President safe on UK soil.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this really is the biggest security operation since the coronation. It's also actually, even though no one's going to actually see it face to face, it's the biggest state visit we've ever had. We've never had such a huge turnout of our military. Every aspect of this is truly impressive.
And they've done that for Donald Trump, haven't they? Like, it's the most number of officers, it's the most this, it's the most that.
Exactly. He wants those photo opportunities. If that's what it takes for him to give us preferential treatment and deals, so be it. It's only the cost of a few million. We've just had announced 20 billion investment by Microsoft, 5 billion by Alphabet. The money from America can pour in. If this is what we need to do it, so be it.
Very, very fair points. Thank you very much indeed. That's Rafe Hadel-Mankey's royal commentator and historian. Claire Pearsall, is it worth it? Look, I mean, look. My audience will know I am not a monarchist. I'm not. I'm huge respect for the late Queen. Actually, I've got to say, really like the current Queen. Love a bit of Camilla.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of time for people who do their duty and get on and do their job well. It's just not the form of head of state that I would have. That's just my view. But this is when this is quite literally our trump card. We have a royal family that is well known, and people like Donald Trump love it. And we can play this hand, and it works for us.
And we are exceptionally good at it. We have a royal family who know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what buttons to push. Windsor Castle looks absolutely stunning at any point, even when there's bad
a lot
weather.
of the footage we've got right now is people have got, which is actually of London, where it's rain swept, but actually Windsor Castle is grey. I mean,
but always looks...
we ain't getting an Indian summer this September, it's quite clear, but it's not. It is dry, so...
But it always looks stunning, and with carriages and horses and armed forces on patrol. We do this stuff very well. We do pomp and circumstance and pageantry.
And your son's involved with the cadets. I mean, you're sort of imbued in all of this stuff.
Yeah, and I come from a military family as well, so I'm always up for that. I always think it's great. Big bands performing, you can't beat it.
What do you make of the political aspects when you get the Sadiq Khans and all the others? And we know all of these politicians who are in the front line, front bench now, the Yvette Coopers, David Lammy, they've all, let's see, for a better expression, slagged off Donald Trump, their opposition. It's almost like they didn't know they'd ever be leaders and they'd ever actually be in power. Them, I've said lots of things, but that's my job. It's like these are people you think you've done that. You might have to meet him as Foreign Secretary or Home Secretary or Deputy Prime Minister. Think it through, guys. Play the long game. No, but seriously, it's just, I think it's really bizarre. But about them all now having to kowtow and shake hands and be obsequious to this man. But not saying he is the leader of the free world, militarily, economically, the powerhouse that is America. You want them on your side.
Well, of course you do. And I think it was James Ball, one of your guests earlier, who said Trump probably won't remember Yvette Cooper's name, let alone what she's said about him in the past.
I'm hoping we won't remember Yvette Cooper's name in the past, but that's the key thing. Thank you very much indeed.